Let's talk a little bit about the online presence of the show, because obviously no other shows have kind of the setup with the live feeds and the extra, the Showtime After Dark. The American Idol panelists, Survivor, Amazing Race, they talk about how their season airs and they're at home and they can read the blogs and they can watch the episodes. When you got out of the house, did you go back and watch every second you could get your hands on? Did you read the blogs? What did you do once you were out? Because you're so isolated.
You'll go insane if you do that, especially.
That's bullshit. I used to read the blogs before. I love all the evil things are my favorite. I love Survivor Sucks. The first thing, we went right from finale, went home, I went right to his house, because I didn't know where to stay, because CBS is such cheap asses, they immediately are like, we're done with you, find somewhere to stay, even though you had fucking 4 months to never be on the internet and book a hotel. So I'm like, where do I stay? Go to his house. We go right on the internet and go look at people making fun of us. And it's the first thing I did, and I laughed my ass off the whole time. So I like that. Some people don't and are fragile, and it's just, that's not me.
Fragile.
I'm not fragile.
You're tough on that.
The difference with that and other shows too is that they get the other shows that are done taping and then they're out in the public, and when that show starts airing, they're recognized little by little by little by little, and it builds up, as opposed to Big Brother where you're locked away and you have absolutely no idea what's going on. And my experience, I walk out of the house after 3 months and 30 million people know who you are, and your head is just spinning off the top of your shoulders. I had this 350-pound black woman. I'm walking down the street to the coffee shop. She slams on her brakes in a minivan, leaves the door open in the middle of the lanes, and comes charging at me. And like it's stuff like that just like trips you out. It's all at once. It's not even a build-up to. Polly P from was it NCIS, NCSI?
Polly Perrette.
Yeah, she's the goth medical examiner. She's a good friend of mine. And at my finale, she was there, and she's like, "Be prepared. You know, I've done commercials before, and my notoriety or fame had built up little by little. But with you, everybody's talking about you everywhere, and it's going to be a lot for you."
I think the strangest distinguishing factor is like, let's say Survivor or any show, it's a 15-episode run, say an hour at a time. So you're on TV for 15 hours. So if someone goes, oh, remember when you did that? All they know is what was on TV. So people come to us and be like, remember on August 23rd at 3:20 p.m. when you said this? I don't remember that at all. So there's something on the live feed. So they watch your whole life. It's crazy.
Right, I mean, like, every single detail will be blogged about. It's not just like people watching you 24 hours a day.
I've done it.
Right, like the most mundane detail, like at 3:53, Matt ate a chip. 3:54, he ate another one. It's insane.
Or like when fans say, like, I synced my sleep with your sleep, so I know
they do that. They do that.
Like, whoa.
But I think that's awesome. I mean, it's a little scary, but it's also awesome. And the other thing that I think is cool about the digital component of our show is it's very hard for any of us to cry foul with editing, because there's always a check and balance with the live feed. So if somebody gets a tremendously great edit and they're actual assholes, right? Like, yeah.
So there's only so much edit.
No, let's explore that a little bit, because you're right. A lot of shows.
Let me tell you, there were days where it was Tuesday and they're like, okay, we need you to get back into your Sunday outfit and come back in here, and I need you to like do this. Or they like show you sequined events that did not happen the way they're showing it. So like there's a complete manipulation that way. And they'll block out the live feeds, especially like when me and Shima went into her HOH room to dye my hair and we were talking, nobody's ever seen that.
Well, there were a lot of aspects that no one never saw in our season. In fact, it was so bad in our season that season 12, they blocked yours even more.
Yeah.
Any viewers agree? Like, because of 11 and all, you say and just, it's done.
No, and I remember from like watching, because me and Shima watched like some 12, like the feeds and everything. So, like but there were conversations, especially like when Rachel would talk, then all of a sudden blackout, because they did not want us to.
Okay, but even through the blackouts, let's say it's a 3-hour blackout, that's 3 hours of your life. You still know the person and their personality. You can't say that this person was edited to be evil or edited to be an asshole. Either you're evil, you're an asshole, you're funny, because you know the person through the blackouts. A conversation between you and Shima doesn't change the way you know your personality. One conversation that someone didn't see doesn't not make you a nut job. You're still a nut job.
If it was one conversation, but
more of you was shown than not shown. I mean, if you're watching the feeds, you're gonna see you.
Okay, so in the beginning of the season, there's a lot of there's like only 4 live feed cameras, and there's like 12 to 13 people. Some people are never on the live feeds. I was like watching myself,
Laura
and I was
from our
never on
season?
there. Like, so you didn't get to see what I was doing for the
Never
first
saw
one.
Laura.
What happens is I don't know if you guys have done the back of the behind the scenes tour from the outside looking in. Have any of you guys been able to do that?
Nope.
Okay, I got to do that, and actually from season 9, I was standing like with the glass in front of me, and Sharon was doing the dishes, and it's just so bizarre. She's like looking right at me, and like you're just standing right there, and you're just watching it, and you walk around the whole thing in the diary room. You think that you're sitting in the diary room, and it feels like this little intimate space where you're talking to a camera. And outside of my season, there's like fucking 50 people looking inside.
No way.
I swear to God, it's a huge area back there. It's like a little house, like built in a house, but outside each wall is like 20 to 50 feet. And
On the other side of the diary room?
oh, absolutely, absolutely. People are in there crying away, and there's 20 people going. But what they do is, it's like, I call it mission control. They have like 2 big screens, everything's divided right down the middle. I asked Allison, the executive producer, how they follow this. And with, 14, 15 people, especially in the beginning, there's 2 big screens, and then they get smaller screens, and it's probably about 20 on each side. They only follow 2 stories, and then the sub-stories underneath that. And they change as it progresses, and the people that they're following, the stories that they're following, they can only follow so much. They can't follow, relationships between each of the 14 people. What is that, like almost 200 stories, so everything, and just like everyone. How many things in your season you're like, I know this is gonna make the show, and you watch the show and you're like, what the fuck happened to that? That was intricate to this whole thing happening in this domino, in this cascade, but they can't show everything. They do the best that they can. I think that they do a good job.
12 feet.
I missed it. What was that?
I said not much was happening on the season 12 feet. They were hoping you guys did something.
They're praying.
We were very sleepy cats. The beds are very comfortable in our season. I think you guys understand.
One thing I found when we got out of the house, I really was very happy that people watched online feeds and live feeds, because no matter what they say, there is a disparage between what's shown on TV and what's shown on live feeds. And the majority of viewership is not live feeds. I mean, majority of people are watching these segments on TV 3 times a week for the entire summer. So that's who they know you as. So coming out of the house, especially, I know Rachel very well, and then when we started watching the episodes, we very quickly figured out how we were portrayed in the house, and that was kind of hard for me to deal with, because I know the intimacy of our relationship, I know where we stand, and I know who we are together. But of course, if you were to take the sum of your life and pick out all the moments to make you look extremely evil or extremely nice, you could do it very easily. So, and that's what I think sometimes we forget, that because we did it, and we are all guilty of this, and that's why you see in the very beginning of the season, everybody talks smack about last year's cast, because we watched the very last 2 seasons, and so that's the only thing we have in common when we go in that house. So we watch and we see Shima throw her mic and act like a drama queen and think Shima's this horrible person, and then about a week into the house, you're like, oh my God, I totally realize what goes on in this place. You know what I mean? And I know why, and then I know additionally that they only showed me what they wanted me to see of Shima. So that's the common mistake I think a lot of people make.
But they can only show what you did. They can't show anything that you didn't do. They can only show what you did. And if you didn't do it, you couldn't be portrayed like that. They can't quote you. They can't. It's all you saying it. It's all you doing it.
There's a thing called Frankenbits, which some of you may be familiar with, where they chop up what you've said, and that's why they have you come in and wear different outfits, or actually wear the same outfit that you did before. I mean, there's a lot of manipulation that goes into reality TV. So, I mean, if people, for example, me, of course, I got a lot of, she's a diva, which I kind of am. She's a bitch, which I kind of am. But, I mean, these are just fractions of my personality. I'm a whole person. So, but if people want to define me strictly off what they saw on Big Brother, so be it, because I'm tired of defending for myself and telling people I'm really nice. You don't like me? You don't like me.
Kristen.
Yeah, I wasn't shown really on my season at all in the beginning. And it's because I have a brain and because I knew what production was capable of.
like Shima said, I'm a whole person, and I wanted to be portrayed as a whole person, and I knew that I wasn't gonna be, so that's kind of why I didn't give them what they wanted, and that's partially why I got screwed over. So.
Kathy would only get called in a diary room like once every 2 weeks.
There was like, we would go into the diary room multiple times a day, and there was like a 7-day stretch, would you say, that Kathy was not asked into the diary room one time.
And then she did, and somehow she got hurt, and she came out hurt.
Like the first week, the only time like when she's in the caramel and she's like, help me! What a lot of people don't know is that Kathy was really sick coming into the house, and she was on an IV the morning of that competition, that literally the only time she was asked to go into the diary room was when they were putting an IV into her arm. It's true.
I want to point out a really interesting situation with our season. Brayden was portrayed as this fun-loving surfer guy, and
Shut up!
Well,
We'll be louder.
anyways,
Panel in here.
there was a situation where Brayden said some really nasty, racist, misogynistic comments to me and Kevin, and they edited water coming out of his cup, the sound of water, and there never was anything in it. And the producers, they said not to talk about it, nothing, what he said. And the only reason why they even showed part of Brayden going off on me and Kevin the way he did is because Shima, on our first live show, said what he did in her like final plea speech. So there's definitely like editing manipulation. They can totally cut out conversations and like splice them to make it seem like you said something or did something or you're up to something that you really had no intention of doing. So there's, I don't think reality TV somewhat is always real.
Wait, what?
Kind of along those lines, just talking about the production and everything with the show. Survivor people talk about luck of the draw, the luck of the tribe that you get, and Amazing Race talks about you get a bad cab driver in India.
Do you really think Jordan could have won the damn game by herself?
Well, how much do you think luck plays into it, or production, or do you think they're
Luck
the
and
same
who
thing?
you pair up with too.
Well, okay, the twist of your season, right? The twist of your season, I don't know, but I wouldn't have picked Ronnie as my teammate. I mean, he was just so brilliant and so physical. Yeah. Okay. I wouldn't have picked a diva, no.
It's all part of the game, though. Look at season 9. I mean, season 9 with the couples was the worst twist ever.
No, but when you automatically go into the house and you're told geeks, freaks, the cool kids, like, and the athletes,
Would
and
you
all
want
your
Jen from
competitions
season
are
9 to be,
athletic, like
handcuffed to you, though. She's running around calling her boyfriend a racist in there, and there goes Alex. You know, who was the other one? There was Parker. Who the hell was Parker's partner in that
Jen?
season?
Was it
Parker was
Jen?
Jen? There was a few people that got really screwed.
Yeah.
Alex got screwed, Parker got screwed, but there's plenty of seasons of Survivor. I just watched Survivor China, where they switched 2 people from tribe to tribe, and Aaron, who was golden, leading Todd's alliance, and that alliance was the final 3. But yet Aaron, when they made that switch, he was first out. Shit happens. You know, it's all part of the game. You got to expect it. You got to take the good with the bad and just deal.
But when you clearly know that certain people get advantages over others, it's like you're not making it an even playing field anymore. And when people get favored, it's really freaking annoying.